Jandam because of Ghana, we need to stop the Jandam. Ningina is got to do with tariffs. Yasi ato lightim, yatu nsiom, NDC for na abetum, John Mahama de, or nyeni papa, NPP for neka, and yebe set records this straight. Can you tutum, any lighter yatutum, any insua yatutum no, if you in a buy, NDC for no mutimo ding, and no matter to canium, and I say a buyer never hold on with Jiminti. Negotiations be omko ya sebio omo tie mu ena sebio MDC for catch them a mentie ena me abedru ha na mo me hwe the facts na eka now and the NPP for sorry na omo to social media omunya opportunity bia so betna TV so a all that they do is they want to throw dust and another communicator we onya kwara good morning Ghana papa penyini oyetani de bia me kan say NPP mu no so omo pe obi use no adampena de bia omo hwehwe tani baako no mo use no papa penyini we betena TV so ende ebekeka nkwase asem and all because na adwene ye ne say Jandam eno mbetum de wini power biem e de adada Ghana fo enti sabio ono tani no ni refi no ho ena wa betena TV so say the idea is to lie to Ghanaians say ya to kaniem ya to nsuom into obetena TV so no obey association ontumi nka ice cream obetwa tro ama Ghana fo bia to mutrim and there you set records ni straight now you be kire mu nsema o maka any atra omodi and why and the kanye ya tutum no it's got nothing to do with NDC aban decision omoteki na a purely NPP for decision omoteki ye emra omone IMF focus ye yedi etiko share IMF agreement no sa agreement na ye ne IMF ko sign ye no NPP aban led by Oforiata Gabi Ochredakon eye Bamti Ekufuado Mahamudu Bawumia the head of the economic management team omone IMF ko tena sika say this is what they want to do if we say na oma say economy na kodu point bia na ye ntumi nya ho hwe na omome nkotie NPP communicator we kai say o yiri wo fie o ba sebio owebusianfo your onkofo a omo friend say uncle at the end of the day no asem be free wano aba no ene be kire say wadwini kofie ana wadwini nkofie wabetena TV so to deliberately lie to Ghanaians. Now after this guy egia Jandam ni wie no Gideon Boakwa na oye the special aid to Bawumia. In fact say otis Bawumia kekan kwasi asema ono na advice Bawumia on economy. Na oye Bawumia senior advisor when it comes to economy no. And he said that Bawumia jina bedwom na okeka ensem na ototo papa so a nipa a odene tena dem etu nefo se okwa kokeka sansem we no Gideon Boakwa ono so kotena parliament obi show so e wa sempa obi opeso ye MP oba beto ye twen no ogisi ejimi oni obi e negotiate we chire e discuss the omo peso mbeye and on the 12th or on the 13th omukotena asempa and ono so kotwa atro e wo asempa FM. Now first of all no yen starting free good morning Ghana entra papa we betwa ye so wo hia na ka chen say o trofo he has no credibility because we are going to prove to Ghanaians say the NPP as a political party no de amu komunne no sunlight bill no water bill atum no omo na de Ghana kon ekose de agreement ase enu ntina Ghana and yato kanie makodu bebi edu enu ntina yato nsuo makodu bebi edu yen kan tra keke yen betietiem yen be ya bodwe se mwa yen me se nwan ma emekekem ye de adanse ne evidence ye the facts ne betare to na Ghana for ehu no kre no. Yeah, first of all, let's listen to this Jandam. Where any atro number one.
I've listened to Honorable and I've listened to some of his colleagues.
Okay.
You can see that there is a push of the blame elsewhere as to why they are increasing tariffs, which is not the appropriate way to start.
Is the PRC that announces tariffs?
No. But he says something which is very fundamental. We need to clarify that side before we can put on the building blocks.
Okay.
He's saying that the IMF agreement was what the previous government agreed that there will be quarterly increment in electricity tariffs or other tariffs. My colleagues have made it very clear that there is no such an agreement. In fact, before I came to air, I predicted this in my camp. I've clarified with a lot of people. They said there should no such an agreement. So the NDC should tell people that we have a decision to make, and this is the decision we have made. But you cannot push the decision to make such a choice on the fact that somebody have more or less made it to be binding on you. That is just irresponsible. And this is what we know. The campaign on research, so far, the research is not going very well, in my opinion. No. Having said that, so perhaps they should go ahead to publish where they think the agreement required them to make a quarterly adjustment. So having said that, let me put this in a proper perspective. Ghanaians need to be aware that it is a choice that they have made. Just 2 weeks ago, they celebrated with fanfare the fact that they have cancelled whatever institution. When it comes to, please, you have had your chance. Let me rest. You can then have the opportunity to rebut. Otherwise, we cannot flow.
Go ahead.
Yes. So you have made that decision to put burden on Ghanaians by increasing tariffs. Just make it very clear that we have given you this and we are taking this away from you. But do not push it that it was somebody who made you to take that decision. That is just an irresponsible way of doing governance. So you have made that decision and you are putting the burden on the Ghanaian.
Who made the decision to bring this guy on TV? Mr. Akwa, we want to make ice cream. Who actually made the decision to bring this guy to come and sit on TV to decide the decision on this thing? Who made the decision to bring this guy on TV? These are the communicators, NPP, Alflodi. These are the spillovers. They made a decision to bring this guy to come and state decisions to us. Now, let us correct something here. The guy said there was no decision. Now, Okasano, osi quarterly increment na abedawa 3 months biano ya too light ene eye insume ene diakano. Or say there is no such agreement between, or there was no such agreement between the NPP government and the IMF. That is what Decision Man was saying. Decision was saying that, and he's in his own words, there is no such agreement. Or say he clarified from so many people. So after he clarified from all those people, he made a decision to come and sit on TV to tell us that the decision was that there was no such agreement. Say, Ghana and the IMF, Etnase and the NPP say every quarter, they were going to, or they will make a decision to increase tariffs. So decision has spoken. Now, after decision made this vague, unsubstantiated decision statement, Gideon Buakwa or the advisor to Bawumia, economic advisor, in fact, his personal advisor and aide to Bawumia, also call Asempa to go make a similar statement. Now, this is Gideon Buakwa.
Minia John Jinapo is quoted to have said, Omuji e-levy free wa Omobeto electricity mo to make up for the revenue shortfall. If that is true. Okay.
Increase in tariff, no, I say IMF is demanding that.
It's not true. It cannot be true. IMF program said neighbor and I'm a boy.
Yes.
From 2009 to 2017, 8 years 9 days before the 7 years out of the 8 years, almost to electricity tariff. The only affair NDC anto electricity boom 2009 almost 7 out of 8 years almost to electricity tariff.
Asempa FM.
President Akufo-Addo inherited IMF program under the NDC. Am no ND am I no also sign introduce IMF program in the 8 years of 2 different IMF programs. But 8 years now, President Akufo-Addo abai wo ho ni nyina no. Out of the 8 years no, only 3 years and NPP abai to electricity boom Ghana. 2017, NPP and electricity boom Ghana. 2018, Yanto electricity boom Ghana. There was a reduction of 17.46%. 2019, and year 17.5%. 2020, Akufo-Addo and electricity boom Ghana. 2021, Akufo-Addo and electricity boom Ghana. 2022, Akufo-Addo and electricity boom Ghana. In fact, 2020 crowd were share electricity. 2023 and what 2 electricity boom and last year or 6%. Now IMF program on you 6%. It is a uba be munne. Now be catch and say Akufo-Addo wo na IMF programs mienu na wo 8 years ni nyina no. Mfie miensa pe and or 2 electricity boom. Mfie num 1 2 electricity boom. Wo buy no. IMF program na Akufo-Addo wo na 1 2 electricity boom no. Preko pe what say IMF was to electricity boom now one cannot crunch Ghana for.
All right, so let's stay here. Oh, say we more liars. Now should be a say journalists not in anymore. Say or you're truthful. Say be no kind of cry and I say he's daft, but majority of people don't know. Gideon Bwako, asma no cannot say. IMF programs are abanyina be seen no. There was no programmer. A chese was here to light bill mu. Now the question here is, programs are Yanfani said the immediate program before Akufo-Addo Modian Ebano. Na a JM NDC programmer yadi huko jimu. Satana NDC edge $900 million every IMF for. Today we are talking about $3 billion. Now the issue is the 2 IMF programs are the conditions the same. You cannot tell me say JM ana eye de Akufo ko IMF na in the component eye the agreement no eye increment in quarterly tariffs say enkanwa. It does not mean say woko IMF last year that agreement quarterly increment in our tariffs should not be in there in the first place. Sika JM mukoje wa IMF and no be ena mukoje no IMF. We are asking, a time na moko IMF program Akufo-Addo time no. Time a JM call IMF no, na Ghana car eswaya yede ko IMF na sen. And a time na Akufo-Addo eko IMF no, na a car eswa Ghana na sen. These are 2 separate programs that comes with 2 different agreements. So you cannot sit on radio and say Kufo ko IMF, Mahama ko IMF into the same program should apply to IMF na Akufo-Addo any ba omia ko no e kire unim nyansa e kire wo journalist na oto no so wonya smart and I say deliberately no why you say you want to misinform the public because you cannot compare Kufuor's IMF to JM's IMF to Akufo-Addo's IMF. These are 3 different programs which in them their agreement carries different components. Inti JM ko IMF akope 900 million no any Akufo-Addo eko IMF akope 3 billion no. You want the agreement because time na JM eko IMF no na eka eda Ghana so no it was not more than 54 billion. So then na JM agreement oko sign with IMF no it should be the same as agreement Akufo-Addo na Ghana deka over 1.6 trillion and Ghana eka eda. Why? How can it be the same? Why is he not looking at the respective IMF programs and the component in them? Because we are talking about specific IMF programs and the specific agreements they signed. You cannot tell me, say, Herbert Mensah be kotoko CEO. And Obifofra be kotoko CEO. As far as Herbert Mensah be kotoko CEO, no, on any rules and regulations and the way he signed his contract, no, as far as Obifofra be kotoko CEO, no, he needs to abide by the same contract rules. It does not work like that because every government, every administration comes with its own agreement and how to go by things. Inti na journalists na ho na oma akwawe kekan kwasi asem wei na okachem say they are informing you. Anytime can say sa obi mu no oma hini kobna sante mu no. These are people how many politicians wait na them. Na oma be dada mo. Na we create bibia tumutim say they are intelligent, they are liars. Gideon Bwako analysis or no, nobody should consider this guy as an economist. He's a plain cut liar. On kanu kre. Enuntina o sheda ko nechi Eko ka kyerɛ say President Kufuor IMF any Mahama IMF and the Kufuor beto the ending of Mahama IMF. The Mahama IMF agreement is totally different from a Kufuor Bawumia any Oforiata agreement. That is how it is. And Nitinamoko IMF, a Kufuor IMF no 1,900 million. There was a reason why a Kufuor was demanding for 3 billion. And there was a reason why JM was demanding for 900 million because what they went with, the omode call and agreement no sign here. Let me let you understand something. Gideon Boako, any side decision guy, no, the NPP is being disingenuous. Omugin say Jimmy, they want to lie to you. They are trying to hide the damage they have done. And the tariffs na yatutumna akosruna. They are trying to hide behind politics to make it look like say NDC na akofaba na NDC for Ghana for no. Let us take our time and see where the problem is coming from. The media, Obi Munyina, they know the fact, they know the truth. Obi Way Obasoko running on the ticket of NPP. He knows what he's doing. Gideon Boako, he has read the Mahama IMF agreement on him, every single thing in it. NPP for they know the agreement that John Mahama IMF koye and omunim the agreement Oforiata Kennedy Ekufuado and Bawumia and IMF koye. So how can you just sit and tell your Ghanaians and say you are a lawmaker, you are an economist, and you just pick one statement at the end of the day or one definition to define every single IMF program? Actually, with Jimmy. Now, let me show you something. You see, time before Ekufuado, Oforiata, Bawumia, Ebeko IMF. In fact, the NDC started speaking before the NPP went to the IMF. Now, the NDC didn't catch say NPP for IMF in Tema, our problems compounded yet too much. One shot, the concern of the NDC in opposition was that they will end up going to IMF, the conditionalities, the agreement will be so binding to the point to say it is going to worry Ghana for a long term. Now, the reason why I'm here the crossroad, program no atamil John Mahama mo and atofosimo, they were having press conferences and programs and speaking on the economy. And they said the NPP were supposed to go to IMF earlier because na ekano air pilot. Now, the more you are getting in debt, the more it becomes difficult for you to sign a better agreement with the IMF. Intina atofosimo were cautioning the NPP. They should put the pride aside. They should look at Ghanaians and see the plight they are putting them through, and they will be putting them through in the future. Into the NDC in opposition, we're telling MPP, say, put your pride aside and quickly go to IMF because man calling Tema, a blow which is inevitably yours when earlier received can cause torrential hostilities. NDC for Ebu MPP for Bese, Chedia Bear Monomonjin and Tem, na one jin and Tema, one shall talk for my own sorry. But because the NPP were doing politics, because nobody said, "Omo followers ne Jimmy," because nobody said, "Omo ya dear mana Ghana for ya," because they thought to say they could rule, they could govern, they could be corrupt forever. No, they did not listen to the NDC. Now, before they went to the IMF, this is what happened. You realize, say, 2023, the opposition, Edinkai Kasafa, IMF, Nadien, MPP for Enko. This is a news report. Listen.
The minority in parliament, in a reaction to the completion of the processes leading to the IMF's executive board approval of Ghana's request for a fund-supported program, says Ghanaians should brace themselves for more hardships under the program. It says, and I quote, "Let's brace ourselves for the full consequences of this IMF deal, which will without doubt bite hard on Ghanaians, especially the youth. This is not the counsel of despair, but the reality that will soon dawn on all of us," he stated. Dr. Kazel Atoforson's statement was released moments after IMF and Ghana held a joint press conference in Washington to provide further details on the $3 billion three-year extended credit facility approved for Ghana. His state suffice it is to say
it's we and some ahoro to me call so channel you so high population television. Ya Michelle on Trewashim so yemre ewaha or Maria so between subscribe it, share hit on notification bell. Na emma ebusuya kuno emu enye Kesi. Ya Michelle say obeka ebusuya kuno. That's an so bad here di adumbi edomyenia. Insensia mai na yensumu o kwan sonko so kra. Ha. A population television. Me that's so yemre.